Hey there, podcast and chill listeners. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host Leo, and the guy who can make you laugh while teaching you a thing or two. And I'm Gwen, your informative host here to guide you through the ins and outs of today's theme. So, Leo, what's our topic today? I think this topic is very practical because it plays an important role in finding the right and appropriate method to learn English. Today we will talk about 5 common mistakes people make when learning English and how to avoid them. Does that sound good, Gwen? Of course. Whether you're a beginner or have been learning English for a while, this episode will help you improve your skills. So let's get started. Let's see what the first mistake is. It's not practicing English enough. Let's face it, speaking a new language can be challenging. Maybe you worry about making mistakes, or perhaps you feel pronunciation isn't perfect. But here's the secret. Practicing English speaking is the key to mastering English. Why is speaking important? Speaking helps you use the words and grammar you learned. It also helps you become more comfortable with the language. When you speak, you practice your pronunciation and learn to listen better. The more you use your English voice, the stronger and more comfortable you become. If you don't practice speaking, it can be hard to talk to people in English. Do you still feel nervous or shy when trying to speak English? Here are some tips to help you feel better about speaking. The first thing is to find a speaking partner. If you have friends or someone who wants to speak English, they can help you improve and feel more comfortable. You can look for online communities or language exchange apps where you can connect with English learners to practice conversation. Don't worry if processing like this seems boring and you don't know where to start. Let's role play together and talk about topics closest to you. Pretend you are in different situations like ordering food at a restaurant and asking for directions. Practice what you would say in these situations. Here's another thing. Have you ever thought about talking to yourself? If you can find a partner to practice speaking, this is also a way for you to practice on your own. Practice speaking simple sentences in front of a mirror. It might feel silly at first, but it's a great way to build confidence and get comfortable with the sound of your English voice. This will help you see your expressions and feel more confident. The next thing is thinking English. Instead of translating everything from your native language, try thinking English as much as possible. This will help you become more fluent and spontaneous. And for this to be effective, use your phone to record yourself speaking. Listen to the recording and see what you can improve. The second mistake is relying too much on your native language. It's easy to use your native language when learning English, but it can slow you down. Why is this important a problem? When you rely too much on your native language, you don't practice thinking in English. It makes it harder to remember and use English words and sentences. It also slows down your speaking and understanding skills. This is how to practice thinking in English. Use an English dictionary. When you encounter an unknown word, instead of using in English, your first language dictionary, use an English one. This helps you learn new words in English and understand their meanings better. Labeling things around you is also a good way to think in English. Write the names of things in English and sticky notes and put them on objects around your home. This helps you think of English when you see these objects. Have you ever set your devices to English? If not, let's try. Change the language on your phone, computer, and other devices to English. It will help you practice reading and understanding English every day. All of the above are what is closest to you. It will help you approach English in the most confident and effective way. A third mistake is skipping grammar basics. Although the purpose of language is to help people communicate with each other, but if you ignore basic grammar, you may have difficulty when opposed to situations where you need to use academic English. Grammar is a set of rules that tells us how to put words together to make sentences. It's very important to know the basics of grammar. If you skip the basics, it can be hard to make good sentences and understand English well. So, how to learn grammar basics? We start with simple sentences. You have to learn the present simple, past perfect, and future simple tenses. These aren't used a lot in English. It's also about practicing sentence structure. Don't ignore learning how to make simple sentences with a subject, verb, or object. For example, I ate an apple. It looks easy, but if you don't understand the grammar well, you will be confused when you encounter sentences with more difficult structure. You can use grammar books or an app. There are many good books and apps that can help you learn grammar. Find one that you like and use it regularly. English Grammar and Used by Raymond Murphy is a good book for beginners. You don't need to download too many apps and not know which one to use. That's right. Learning online on YouTube like this is also a way for you to find channels that provide suitable learning methods for your learning. Exchange. Definition. To give something and receive something else in return. Example, they exchange gifts on their birthdays. Rely. Definition. To depend on or trust in something or someone or something. Example, I rely on my alarm clock to wake me up in the morning. Silly. Definition. Acting in a way that doesn't make much sense or it isn't very smart. Example, it was silly of me to forget my keys inside the house. Method. Definition. A way of doing something and technique. Example, she used a new method for organizing her study notes. Label. Definition, to attach a tag or marker to something to identify or describe it. Example, he labeled all his photos to keep his documents organized.